Yo,
Angel of Death
six
Challenge.
most disturbing internet trends.
On June
Check
3rd,
it out.
2022, an 18-year-old teen tragically passed away after falling in front of a truck
shit.
in Tangerang, Indonesia. However, what made this particular incident stand out among the dozens of traffic-related deaths on Indonesian roads every day was that this was not an accident.
31,000? Oh, nah, boy, they out there tweaking.
Instead, this was the result of one of the
What?
most disturbing internet trends that was sweeping the country during this time. It had actually started back in 2021, but exploded in popularity in mid-2022. The trend was called the Malaikat Mau Challenge, or the Angel of
Malaikat
Death
Mau,
Challenge in English. It involved TikTokers, mainly teenagers, playing a game with oncoming traffic, particularly loaded trucks. Their goal
So the Crossy Road game, bro, and real life is crazy, bro. I ain't gonna lie, that's insane, bro.
was to run out onto a busy street in front of a truck, hope it stops before hitting them without flinching, and post the video of the stunt online. But completing this dangerous challenge successfully was a
31,000
lot
people
harder than
did
many of
that
its
game?
unfortunate participants realized. Most of them jumped onto the road as the truck got extremely close,
Mind my
giving the
business,
driver
bro.
virtually no time to notice them and apply the brakes. But even when drivers had enough time to see the kids performing these stunts, they still couldn't slow down in time to prevent tragedy. Trucks usually carry heavy cargo, and that weight doesn't stop on a dime. The heavier the load, the longer the brake.
Bro, it's not the driver's fault, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That sound bad, but it's not the driver's fault, bro. That's their fault.
Braking
I'm not even
distance,
finna get into it,
sometimes
bro.
stretching dozens of
It's
meters
obvious.
even after the brakes are fully pressed. So by the time the drivers reacted, it was already too late. Not to mention the fact that this trend was also putting the truck drivers at risk, both physically and psychologically.
Yeah.
For one of these cases, involving a 14-year-old participating in this challenge, the driver fled the scene, likely out of fear of facing criminal charges. If he had instead stopped and cooperated, the footage the teenager's friends captured for TikTok would have proven his innocence. But by running away, he turned himself
Oh, he got arrested because he ran, bro.
into a hit-and-run suspect, potentially jeopardizing his job and even his freedom depending on the charges he received. Following the incident in Tangerang, Indonesian police acted quickly to prevent further tragedies. They managed to stop 14 more kids from attempting the same dangerous stunt that very day and continued to monitor the city over the upcoming months. However, the attempts in Tangerang, Indonesia were only a small part of the global trend that cost several lives and left many others with life-altering injuries over the next year. Thankfully, TikTok eventually stepped in and removed all content related to the Angel of Death challenge.
Thank you,
And
bro.
since social media validation was the main reason participants took part in this dangerous trend, the platform's
what
ban
type
caused
of-
it to gradually fade
Bro,
into
who is
obscurity.
doing this? I mean, 31,000 people, but come on, bro. Be for real, bro.
Happy slapping. On the 21st of January 2005, the Tez magazine in the UK reported on a
Damn,
new trend
that's
spreading
almost the day I
rapidly
was
across
born.
the country, something they referred to as happy slapping. Contrary to its name, however, the trend was anything but happy. In essence, it involved people, often young adults or teenagers, going up to a random person, slapping them, recording their shocked reaction,
Bro, what? Bro, that's how you get shot, stabbed, and shot again, bro. Like, what?
and then sharing that video with others. Personal camcorders and phones with cameras were becoming a lot more accessible during this time, allowing the attackers to record their crime and share it as something funny. These happy slapping videos were shared all over the internet for the whole world to see. As for how this trend initially started, some reports
I
from the time
guarantee
linked them
somebody
to
lost their
violent
life
TV
doing this,
shows
bro.
like Jackass and Dirty Sanchez. A big difference between these shows and the happy slapping videos, however, was that everyone on TV consented to enduring the pain on camera. The people filming happy slapping
doing it to
videos, on the other
random
hand,
people, bro.
usually targeted complete strangers and bystanders for what they perceived as social clout. As a media expert from that time explained it, what we see the kids watching these shows doing is thinking, well, maybe I could stage my own scenes of pain and humiliation along these lines. Then with happy slapping, people are drawn in as random victims rather than the kind of voluntary performances we get in the shows that are being copied. I think happy slapping has become a shortcut in the eyes of the slappers to fame and notoriety among the people who see the images circulated on the web or sent to them via their mobile phones. And while that was already bad enough on its own, things quickly took an even darker turn. As time went on, the recordings became increasingly violent, likely in an effort to outdo one another and stand out in the sea of dozens, if not hundreds of similar
what you
videos.
mean, bro?
Things went from humiliating but physically harmless slaps to coordinated attacks resulting in permanent injuries. One of the worst cases of this happened on August 31st, 2009
It's not even
in
a
South
prank at that
London.
point.
A
Or a challenge,
67-year-old
whatever. It's
retired
not that
care worker named
anymore, bro.
Ekram Haq left the mosque on Church Lane in Tooting, England after the evening prayer, where he was then approached by two boys, 15-year-old Hamza Lazai and 16-year-old Leon Elcock, wanting to make a happy slapping video. Things quickly spiraled out of control as neither of them held back, resulting in Ekram passing away a week later from a severe head injury he received during the incident. The two were eventually identified and arrested after police reviewed CCTV footage from a nearby camera. Both pled guilty to manslaughter, with Leon receiving a 4.5-year sentence and Hamza sentenced to 3.5 years in prison.
What?
The happy slapping trend as a whole eventually faded away after the UK.
Bro, how did we go from lightly slapping people that knew about it to killing somebody, bro? Like, it's not even the same trend at that
And
point.
the surrounding
Yeah.
countries started treating it as a significant threat to public safety, with France even criminalizing it and giving it a punishment of up to 5 years in prison. Skullbreaker Challenge. On February 14th, 2020, 12-year-old Parker Smith
What is these trends, bro? I've never heard of any of these games.
was invited by his friends to film what seemed like a harmless jumping contest with
Where
them.
have I been,
He
bro?
agreed, and on camera jumped the highest he could, but instead of landing safely on his feet, he fell backward and fractured his right arm. He was rushed to the hospital immediately and fortunately made a full recovery over the following weeks. However, what seemed like a simple accident turned out to be part of a disturbing internet trend his two friends were attempting to recreate. The so-called Skullbreaker Challenge required 3 people to stand in a line and somehow convince the person in the middle to jump. As
bro,
soon
I
as they
did this
did, the
before,
two on the
bro.
outside swept the legs of the one in the middle who was
Don't tell
usually
me
unaware of
somebody
what was
died.
about to
I mean,
happen. This caused
that
them to
makes sense.
fall backward, usually on their head, which is where the trend got its name from. It started earlier that
Damn,
year
that
after a
was a
video of
couple
2
years ago
students
when I
from
did this
Spain
stuff.
doing it on their friend went viral on social media platforms like TikTok,
I shouldn't
prompting
have did it,
countless
I-
imitators to try and recreate its success. And, as you might imagine, the results were disastrous, with Parker being one of the lucky ones for walking away with just a fractured arm. Many others were knocked unconscious by the impact, suffered from severe concussions, and some even needed multiple stitches across their skull and face. The most devastating of these incidents happened on January 24, 2020 in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
I
when
ain't
it
gonna lie, bro, but it's different, bro. When I did it personally, bro, I was in gym class and we had mats under us to stop each other from falling, bro. I guarantee somebody gonna crack their head wide open.
of 7th graders attempted the challenge in school. Unfortunately, the victim fell way too hard on their head, causing them to lose consciousness
Bruh.
and have a seizure. He luckily survived the incident and eventually recovered without any permanent head trauma. However, his initial condition was bad enough that authorities arrested the other 2 13-year-old boys. They were charged with 3rd-degree aggravated assault and 3rd-degree endangering an injured victim since the harm they caused was mostly intentional. Now, I wasn't able to find any reports on whether the charges were dropped or not, but even if they were, being arrested for attempting a dangerous internet challenge goes to show just how dangerous it can be. TikTok also stepped in and banned all videos of this challenge on
even
their
a
platform.
challenge,
Unfortunately, once something is on the internet, it never truly goes away.
Like,
As
that's
evident
messed
from
up,
2
bro.
girls
He's just
finding
gonna
videos of the Skullbreaker challenge,
skull
attempting it
plant
on one of their
into the ground,
classmates, injuring them, and getting charged for it in November 2022, more than 2.5 years after the original fad ended. Fortunately, there haven't been many reports of kids getting injured because of this challenge ever since. Kia Challenge. Near the end of
Where they steal the
2020 and
cars and
throughout
stuff, bro?
2021, authorities in Milwaukee, Wisconsin
That's a
noticed a
challenge?
significant
Or is
increase
that
in
just a
car
group of
theft.
people?
What made this even stranger was the fact that the majority of these stolen vehicles were either from Kia or Hyundai, with theft of these particular cars doubling or even tripling in some areas compared to previous years. However,
I don't know if this is a trend, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It's more just like a group of people that go around stealing Kias in different cities, bro. Like, it's not really a trend, bro. It's just a certain demographic of thieves, thugs, whatever you want to call them, bro.
before investigators could determine the cause of this surge, the situation spiraled beyond their
I don't think
control in ways
people
they could have never
scrolling on
expected.
TikTok on their
Put
day-to-day
simply,
go,
stealing
"Oh, I
Kia
wanna
and
try
Hyundai
the
cars
Kia
became an
challenge."
internet trend called the
don't do
Kia
that, bro.
Challenge. It began on July 12, 2022, when a video captioned Kia Boys went viral for demonstrating just how easy it was to steal Kia
Oh,
and
video
Hyundai
though?
cars manufactured between 2011 and 2021. All a thief needed was a screwdriver and any regular USB cable, since the connector just so happened to be the perfect size and shape to jumpstart the vehicle.
Bro,
This
it should not be that easy to steal a car, bro. What are we doing, bro?
was a major
What?
hardware-level security flaw in dozens of car models, and there was no permanent way to fix the problem either. Now, the original Kia Boys video was eventually
Man, if I'm
taken
Kia,
down by TikTok.
I know I'm pausing a lot. This is crazy. But if I'm Kia, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I'm reimbursing everybody that get their stuff stolen, damaged, anything like that, bro. Because why is the car so easy to steal in the first place, bro?
But the information was already out there, and it already sparked the Kia challenge. Teenagers across the US started breaking into Kias and Hyundais and posting their stunts on social media to participate in the challenge. While the stolen cars caused a massive financial burden for hundreds of innocent residents, the real danger of the Kia challenge came from what many of the thieves did once they had taken control of the vehicles. Since many of them had no intention of actually profiting off the stolen cars and were only doing it for the internet, they began taking the cars for reckless joyrides.
Nah, bro, it wasn't just for the internet, bro. A lot of people, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of Kia boys that they call themselves, they steal the cars and go do gang activities in them. So it can't get traced back to them. This ain't no internet thing, bro. He don't really know what he talk about, at least for this one.
Around town, putting their lives and the lives of everyone else on the road in extreme danger.
Well, let me not say
One
that.
of these
Two
joyrides led to a police
things could be
chase,
right
which
at the same
eventually
time.
ended with the out-of-control car slamming into the concrete barrier and the teenagers who stole the car trying to flee on foot. The most disturbing of the
You got you? Nah, bro.
concrete barrier and the teenagers who stole the car trying to
You running with that big ass purse, bro.
flee on foot. The most disturbing of these
Come on now,
incidents occurred in Buffalo, New York in October 2022, where a stolen Kia ride ended in a fatal crash, taking the lives of 4 teenagers. In total, the Kia challenge resulted in the loss of 8 lives before the disturbing trend was shut down by TikTok and other social platforms. Kia and Hyundai also had to settle a class action lawsuit for $200 million over the dangerously lax security in their cars.
Bro, why was that even a thing in the first place, bro?
Car surfing. Car
What's that?
surfing or riding on the outside of
Bro, these aren't trends, bro. Bro, nobody is excited. Nobody's going on TikTok, scrolling through their videos, seeing this and getting excited. Oh, I want to try it, bro. Literally nobody, bro. What? Oops, I muted it.
long before modern social
on me.
media was even a thing. It started gaining popularity in the early 1990s, compelling teenagers and young adults to speed down the highway while
No,
precariously
cheese in my
balancing
face,
themselves on
relax.
top. Today, most modern cars don't have much to hang on to on the outside to improve aerodynamics, which makes this already high-risk activity even more deadly. It only takes one small slip for even the most daring car surfer to fall into the road. Something that's evident from a 2008 CDC report, which revealed that 58 people lost their lives while engaging in car surfing, and 41 others were severely injured since 1990. Unfortunately, the rise of social media and the desire to go viral with outrageous stunts have only driven that number higher ever since. Most recently, in May 2023, a 16-year-old boy tragically lost his life while car surfing out the back window of a car when the vehicle lost control and rolled over. He would have almost certainly kept his life if he were in his seat with a seatbelt. Sadly, the car surfing trend is just as alive today as it was 3
Bro is in
with a
full
seatbelt. Sadly,
form,
the
bro.
car surfing trend is just as alive.
Bro, he going surfing for real, bro. What is this?
Today as it was 3 decades ago,
Bro,
and
he
shows
looked
no
like
signs of fading away.
He just got on the
anytime soon.
Fortnite island, bro. Bro, that shit hilarious.
Blackout challenge.
Not for real. Blackout.
The
I feel
blackout
like I heard
challenge
this
has
before,
existed
bro.
long before social media.
Okay,
The
I
goal in
probably
this
did
challenge
that.
is to achieve a brief high that comes from cutting off oxygen to the brain by intentionally suffocating until you lose consciousness. However,
Okay, I
while many
didn't.
assume
Bro,
that blacking
what?
out from lack of oxygen is
These aren't trends, bro. I'm gonna keep saying that, bro. What?
perfectly safe in the long run, that couldn't be further from the truth. The rewarding high in this challenge is in reality a dangerous
Okay,
form
maybe
of
I'm
cerebral
tweaking it just
hypoxia,
because I
where
ain't
brain
hear about
cells
it
are
don't mean
deprived
they
of
not
vital
trends, bro.
oxygen.
Whatever.
This can lead to seizures and hemorrhages. Even if someone survives the challenge seemingly unharmed, depriving the brain of oxygen for just a minute can cause permanent, irreversible damage. This can affect memory, reasoning, and other critical cognitive functions in the long run. The line between a fleeting dangerous thrill and irreversible tragedy is terrifyingly thin, and once consciousness is lost, there is no way to control the outcome. Not to mention the very real risk of the person never waking up again. Unfortunately, many who try to recreate this challenge are completely unaware of these dangers, resulting in 82 people losing their lives between 1995 and 2007 alone. What makes this even worse is that almost all of these deaths were between the ages of 6 and 19. Much like other viral trends, young impressionable kids are especially drawn in, motivated by peer pressure or the need for validation, online or in real life. Which is why the resurgence of the Blackout Challenge through social media platforms like TikTok brought it to an even younger audience and left a devastating trail of victims. One of the most well-known cases is that of Nyla Anderson, a 10-year-old girl from Pennsylvania. Her family found her unconscious on the bedroom floor on the night of December 7, 2021. They rushed her to the nearby hospital. Unfortunately, it was already too late. After barely clinging to life for 5 days, she tragically passed away without ever waking up. No one knew why she would do something like this, until investigators did a forensic analysis of her phone, which revealed she had been viewing videos of the challenge on TikTok.
Why she got a phone
Another
that young
tragic
anyway,
instance
bro.
happened in April 2022 when a 12-year-old boy from the
day.
United Kingdom named Archie Battersby suffered catastrophic brain damage after attempting the challenge and passed away months later. And these weren't isolated incidents either. Numerous other children, some as young as 8, suffered a similar fate or other life-altering injuries after attempting this challenge.
Sad to see, bro.
Sadly, despite social media sites' best efforts to suppress the challenge, it continues to spread to this day.
There's no way people are still doing that challenge. I ain't gonna lie. This was an interesting video, y'all boys, man. It was decent, bro. It was decent. I see y'all boys tomorrow, man. I ain't gonna lie.